The following lesson is linked to Learning Outcome 3, Writing and Presenting. It addresses the assessment standard that requires learners to demonstrate planning skills for writing a specific purpose, audience, and context. Learners should be able to locate, access, select, organize, and integrate relevant data from a variety of sources with guidance. Learners should also be able to convert information from one familiar form to another, such as from a graph to a paragraph. Learners should also be able to develop a coherent idea and organize these by using techniques such as mind maps, diagrams, list of keywords, and flowcharts.
Hello everyone, my name is Reno. In our previous lesson, we learned the importance of research and how to gather information from a range of different sources. Today, we are going to learn how to record the information once we have gathered it. This lesson will help you by giving you some ideas about what to record and how to record it. By the end of this lesson, you will know what information to record and learn how to record it. Now, suppose you are planning to write something in class, an essay, letter, or report, but you are completely bombarded with information. How do you decide what's important and what's not? Well, your common sense should tell you that the most important thing to focus on is the topic. What exactly have you been asked to write about? This will give you an idea of how much information to record. If it is a broad topic, then you will have to narrow it down. Look at this topic, for example. Holidays in South Africa. For a topic like this, you would need to work out what type of information you would like to include about South African holiday destinations. But not all information about South African holiday destinations may be relevant to your essay. So, an important aspect of deciding what to record is narrowing down the information according to the topic. You must narrow down the information depending on how long you are told your composition is expected to be. So, for example, to write a postcard about your favorite holiday destination, you will have to be concise because your space is limited, so you will not need much information. However, if you were compiling a brochure of destinations to visit in South Africa, a lot more information would be needed. Do not start recording information for an assignment until you're absolutely sure how long the piece must be. If you're asked to write a 100-word description of a South African holiday destination, you will only have space to focus on one aspect, perhaps a tourist attraction or natural wonder. If, however, you are given a 750-word limit, you'll be able to write about a lot more. Now you know how long it's expected to be, and consequently how much information is needed. To narrow down the information, you must prioritize the information. That is, what information is most important. Do you know what it means to prioritize? Let's define the word priority. A priority is something that must be dealt with as soon as possible. So it is a good idea to arrange your ideas from most important to least important. Arranging your ideas in this order will ensure that you cover all the important areas necessary for your composition without including any irrelevant information. So remember, when narrowing down information, write the ideas down in order of their importance. So far, we've discussed what information to record by learning how to narrow down information. Now let's move on to how to record this information. Before we start, I want you to note that information you use must be written in your own words. It is extremely important that you do not copy anyone else's work or use their work and call it your own. This is known as plagiarism, and it is treated as a criminal offense. The first thing to do when recording information is to decide what medium to use. You can use either cards, for example, cue cards, paper, or enter the information onto a computer. I am going to illustrate how these work with a short example of each. Have a look at these facts about Mickey Mouse. Walt Disney's inspiration for Mickey Mouse came from a couple of mice he saw scavenging in his wastepaper bin. Whilst Disney came up with the idea and provided Mickey's voice, other Disney artists did most of the sketching animation. Mickey has now appeared in over 100 films and has received more fan mail than any human actor. Now, depending on what method works best for you and the task you are completing, you may choose to record this information on cue cards. Cue cards, like these, work well because you can shuffle the key ideas around to see what order you want to mention them in. If you are using your information to make a speech, your cue cards will also come in handy to remind you of your main ideas. Now, whilst the cue card method of recording information works well for short assignments and speeches, you might find that recording information on one sheet of paper works best for you. Here, I have written the same information as the cue cards by hand in the form of this mind map. Then you can add to your plan as you think of more information. And you can make connections between sections. If you have access to a computer, you may wish to type up the information as you come across it. This works well for longer assignments, as you don't have to write notes, a rough copy and then a neat copy. You simply keep adapting your information until you are happy with it. You can also easily add in pictures and continuously work on your presentation. Now that we've decided on our medium, we need to decide on our method. In other words, how we are going to record the information. We can use lists or diagrams, of which there are many variations. For example, writing in point form, using headings, or different colors. If you used point form to make your notes might look like this. Note the different colors to highlight the different headings. A very important aspect in making notes is color coding. Using color enhances your memory and makes your brain remember certain things differently to the way it remembers plain language. Colors definitely stimulate your brain. Diagrams are also extremely effective. The most common and popular diagram is called a mind map. But there are many different kinds, including the spray pattern, spider diagram, and word web. Here is the mind map we made earlier with all the information about Mickey Mouse. All of these methods involve organizing your material, which is very important when it comes to recording information. Now let's recap what we learned in today's lesson about what to do with the information once it has been gathered. Today we learned what information to record and how to record it. So you have seen that there are many ways of recording information. For some tasks, you will use one way of recording information, whereas for others, you might use a different way. It all depends on the requirements and the methods you decide to use. In our next lesson, we will put into practice what we have learnt about gathering and recording information. Until then, goodbye.